I'm Carl White. Welcome to Saturday Shop Tour.
This week, Joe Rakowski of Noble Earth takes us on a tour of his beautiful kombucha and tea lounge located in historic Bristol, Borough, Pennsylvania. Let's get started.
So what's up, everyone? Welcome to Noble Earth. I'm Joe. I'm the founder, owner of this lovely little establishment here in Bristol, Borough on Mill Street. I just realized yesterday as Carl was here going through everything that yesterday marks our 3-year official anniversary here at Noble Earth. So pretty poetic that we're doing this at the same time. So this really started out as an idea when I was living in California. I lived in Oakland for about 4 or 5 years. Studied Ayurveda out there, which basically ancient Indian medicine, where a lot of medicine came from, herbalism, all kinds of good stuff, basically hand in hand with Chinese medicine and all this stuff. So I studied out there for a number of years, the Kerala Ayurveda Academy, and then also the National Holistic Institute for Massage Therapy, Anatomy, Body Sciences. So living out there got me into a lot of even cooler stuff, and kombucha was one of them. So I would just make that on my own at home, and it just was a constant thing that I did. So originally I was going to open up a facility out in Benicia, California. That was the original plan. Unfortunately, my father became terminally ill with cancer. That moved me back here, and unfortunately he passed away back in 2014. And even after that, I was trying to move back to California. I had this whole business idea. I was going to carry this on out there with Ayurveda therapies, yoga, massage, herbs, spices, teas, all that great stuff. So things kept me here. One thing after another. I had custody of my oldest nephew, and some family had actually brought me down here. One of them was a real estate agent, and there was a sign on this door. She tricked me to go to lunch one day. She knew I wanted to invest. I didn't want to rent. I wanted to invest. I was looking at Newtown, New Hope, Lambertville, all these spots, and I knew I was going to wind up here one way or another in Bristol. So I basically grew up down here too. There was a sign on the door. We walked in, and immediately I saw an empty canvas. We had 2 different wellness rooms, office, storage room, and then the brew room in the back. The original owners knew what I was looking to do, so they were willing to try to sell. Eventually that happened, and here we are today. It was kind of interesting with even doing certain events out here, and then even while we're working on the place, I was just giving away my own kombucha out front. I was shocked how many people actually knew what it was. For those who don't know, kombucha is actually a fermented tea. It goes back thousands of years to the Ming Dynasty. It's considered the elixir of life. Samurais drank it damn near religiously, so it just got passed on, and then the Russian folklore medicine and all this stuff, and now we see today kombucha many years later, even as it's tried to take off on the East Coast. It's been big on the West Coast for quite a while. So now we're seeing a lot more companies open up, a lot more people becoming more introduced to it. You get natural probiotics, B vitamins, folate. It really helps with your natural gut flora, let's say. And as we were working on the building, we discovered a lot more stuff in here. My former guitarist from one of my first bands, Hollow Point, he's been a carpenter his entire life. So he was the first guy I wanted in to do this with me, and I knew it would mesh well. And this became our big art project. It was our daily life for months. And the more we worked on it, the more things we discovered, the more history we uncovered in here. So everything from hidden windows to hidden doorways to the lovely saying that was originally on the wall that we found, and the brick especially. So that got me back into woodwork, which most of the woodwork's done in here has been by me. Malcolm did some of the pillars in here that we'll do a little tour on later. All Bristol wood on the pillars, which I'll show, and then pretty much everything's PA wood in here. We offer kombucha on tap. I make a lot of different types of teas. We sell cold teas, CBD teas. We actually source our CBD flower from Blooming Glen Farm in Percy. It's organically grown. Buds from that, all third-party lab tested. We go through the whole charade with the state on that. And then we offer many different local herbs, spices, and teas, everything from a pinch to a pound. That's kind of our motto with that. And different wellness goods that are made locally, everything from CBD products, hot sauces, deodorants, essential oils. We basically go down the line of that. And then if there's anything people are looking for, we gladly get our hands on it as soon as possible. So, and it was also the main aspect was making it more of a community space as well. So years and years ago, me and Malcolm actually used to run shows at the Sugar Grove Bar and Grill and a couple other spots where we hosted live original bands. And we, as a band, did it the way that it should have been done. We took care of the bands. We made sure the bar was taken care of, or any establishment we were in, and we really put all the local bands on the map. This was early 2000s, so probably like 2009. And so I wanted to bring that kind of back in here. And so this has been a home for a lot of incredible local talent now that blew me away. Kind of a shining example is our open mic nights. I was very reluctant to do it. I usually absolutely hate open mic nights. And since day one, it's been absolutely mind-blowing. The talent that's in Bristol and Croydon, Levittown, you name it. We started getting people of all ages that would come down here. It started out as a few younger kids from the high school or whatever, would do poetry, ukulele type songs, folk songs, and then we started getting some older folks from down here. We got an older gentleman who was like doing some really cool rap type stuff. And so it's been really neat to see the different talent coming together. So that also became a hub and then a safe space for everyone from all backgrounds. So it's a nice space to come in, relax, have a cup of tea, kombucha, whatever you like. We also source a lot of local baked goods too, local vegan companies. We started carrying Rosie's Bakery, which is a phenomenal local bakery. She's from down this way. And it just kind of snowballed with all that stuff. So we do 2 big fundraisers every year. We do the Salon du Soleil, which originally started at the Clock Tower. Gina Andrioli is actually my theater teacher from high school. So it's cool we get to do all this stuff. And then we have our Krampus Festivus, which we're still hoping happens this year. And that's a big one that we'll find a local charity. We raise thousands of dollars every year. We get local companies to donate. We raffle stuff off. We have bands, food, you name it. And now with the brewery, hopefully opening up fully soon, Naked Brewing Company, we're hoping to reciprocate between the 2 levels of the building on that. So yeah, that's about the gist of it. And we host events and all that good stuff. And if you want, take a little tour. Here's our main wall of loose herbs. Everything's organic. We get a lot of different peculiar stuff from around the world. We do try to source locally, but obviously some things can't be grown out here. So we have everything from your medicinal mushrooms, Indian spices and herbs. So that's the basic wall here. This fun little wall here, originally, we built this wall. But me and my brother was down here and we were doing all the construction and demo. And we started seeing all these letters. And it wound up being no trust, don't ask for it, for you will not get it. And we thought that was lovely. So I waited to see what we wanted to do. Me as like a bit of an art background, I want to make something positive from something negative. So we waited literally until the day we were ready to put the floors in. And I decided just to take a jackhammer to it and leave the truss there. And then once we sealed it up a bit, it brought out the colors even more. I'm really excited about that one. Right here we have our different tees, our loose tees. My buddy Chuck actually built this fine piece of metal here, and I did the woodwork on it, so that's another little custom piece we did. So then we have our spices on this side, our culinary herbs. So basically anything that we see fit, or if anybody's looking for quality premium spices, we are definitely the spot for that, and anything you're looking for, we can always get. I'm constantly figuring out new spice blends and new stuff that we can source. I love to cook, so this is one of my favorite sections. And then we have some of our more loose stuff, some other bigger companies that are out there. We have some of our mushroom coffees, mushroom teas. We source a lot of good stuff from Barefoot Botanicals up in Doylestown. Awesome organic farm. Over here we have some of our stuff from Alchemy. She started out, I guess a little bit after we opened the place. And I've been a big supporter of hers since day one. So she makes all kinds of awesome CBD products, everything from bath bombs, sprays, ointments, lip balms, beard balms, and of course the CBD oil. We also source stuff from Christine's Garden, another local company. We got Big Spoon, Little Spoon soaps. You can tell these have been selling out like crazy. And some fun little hot sauces. And then this is our fun little area over here. This is the big one that people tend to gravitate towards even from outside. We have a nice little tea section of different accessories and teas to take home. And of course this lovely little setup here, which we originally sourced from Kildare's in Manioc. A friend of mine sent me a link that this was for sale. I immediately called them. I said, don't talk to anybody. I'll be there in an hour. And I showed up, and hilarity ensued with everyone who was there. We fit it into my truck in one shot, very heavy. And so it was downstairs for a while we were doing construction. I refinished everything. And the day we put in the new windows and the new doorway, we brought this whole setup in. And it's been blowing people's minds since, thankfully. So I was telling Carl yesterday, we waited until our opening day to even wash the windows because thankfully we had so many hand and face prints on the windows. So this is a great spot. People love to come in and have a seat, take a picture, enjoy a tea and all that. And this is usually my little thought chair over there. And then right behind you here is where we usually have all the bands. So we usually clear out this space. We'll have open mic night right in here. We also host a lot of local artists. My buddy Joe Leonard brought some pieces yesterday. We're hoping to do a big art thing back around March before COVID hit. So I'm glad to see we're starting to get some of his artwork in here. So yeah, this is the basic setup. We got some stage lights we'll be putting in soon. And we usually have the band set up here, and this place gets absolutely packed. Woodwork right here. These little hockey pucks is probably one of the bigger pains of work that we did in the building, but that was actually Malcolm's idea. This is all Bristol wood. Every bit of wood in here we collected down along the river, up and down the river, around the peninsula area, basin area. And this was like probably one of the lengthiest projects. We did it here. There's a pillar in the back, and then along the bar we did the same woodwork. And as we scale around, the poplar wood and all that is also from Upper PA. A buddy of mine who has got a nice acreage up there, a kiln and a mill. So that was probably, I think that very piece was the first piece I did in here. And then I realized how much I love doing woodwork again. And then we're getting into the big guy here. So this big guy is our first fermentation. Typically what you do when making kombucha is you want to make sure you have a good quality tea. So here we have our gunpowder green tea, and we have our Hirojika tea. It's also another style of green tea. It has a nice caramel, earthy note to it. That's a more recent one I started using. It just brings out a whole new flavor variety to our kombucha. So basically what you do with kombucha, it's fairly easy. It's kind of hard to screw up. Your bigger things are temperature, no sunlight, and your tea and sugar ratio. Good quality water, just like brewing and anything, also helps. So this is our first fermentation. It's 4.5 gallon. Basically what we do is we'll make an infusion of tea. We'll let that steep for about 12 hours. And then once that cools, we add our sugar, certain variations of sugar. We use an organic raw cane sugar. We'll let that dissolve, and what we do is we pour it into here, and we have a previous batch, which this one's almost ready. We'll take the cultures from a more aged batch, excuse me, and we'll add that to the first fermentation. So what that does now is it feeds off the caffeine, it feeds off the sugar, and you get this interesting little growth on the top, which is called a SCOBY. So some call it a mother, SCOBY. So this is basically, it's literally an acronym meaning symbiotic culture of bacteria and yeast. So what happens is the more this produces, you get this nice little growth on top, so people consider it a mushroom. There's nice little healthy debates about all that. But that's just the buildup of the byproduct of the cultures. It's very healthy. I've actually made jerky out of this and candies out of it, and dog treats, and it's actually quite good for you. Some people think it's disgusting. I can see why. But yeah, so basically what you want to do is you put all those things together, right temperature. We typically keep the brew room at a steady 80 degrees. And then you cover it with a cloth on top that allows it to breathe, as you would most fermentations. And then once that goes about 7 days, you get something that looks like this. Test the pH, the alcohol level. There's little to no alcohol. There's no more alcohol than you would find in any fruit juice or vinegar. And once that's done, the first fermentation, that's when we decide, okay, are we putting watermelons in this? Are we going to add a coffee to this? And different variations of herbs, spices, and teas. So that's this will then get capped with any of those ingredients, and then that goes for about another 3 to 4 days. Builds up a natural carbonation. We don't really force carbonate anything in here. It's a natural carbonation. And once you're done that, you have a nice, tasty beverage that's quite good for your gut. We have taps over at Eatery right now, actually, where they make a Camosa, which is a Prosecco, and our kombucha. We have a cherry fig over there right now. We have 2 taps over at the Chamonix Creek Brewing Company. You can also do a shandy, a little mix of a beer and a kombucha, and also cocktails. I like a good cocktail with this stuff. We're also at Good Life Organics up in Reading. We're at Organins in Newtown. We're working on some other varieties with different breweries, and even tomorrow going out to a distillery in Jersey as a possible cocktail collaboration with them. And we also work along with Calm Waters too. So I do a cold brew coffee with them, which we'll do nitro. And we actually have a big seller here called Mouse's Brew, which I named after my dad. That's a really cool coffee kombucha. And that's about it. We're on 3 years now, and we're still going. So, and if anyone knows any locations that want us on tap, and we also will source kegs out to people in private if they're having a party too. And yeah, just have a lot of fun with it. So.
All righty. Joe, thank you. This is amazing. Thanks for your time and all the effort you put into this. And everyone else, have an awesome weekend, and thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.
Great, thank you. Appreciate it.
See you later.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Carl.
Thanks for watching. If you like this video and want to see more like it, please consider subscribing. We feature a new maker shop tour every Saturday.